a few doubts in your team to know whether you should play here or you shouldn't play. We know that you played really well, not having a lot of preparation sometimes. So, can you tell us exactly what decided you to come to Paris?
Well, I mean, I haven't had too many tournaments this year comparing to the other seasons, and the way the season started was not very great and positive for me. And I experienced some new, unusual sensations in off the court post Australia, so that has affected my tennis, and it took me a little bit of time to find that balance, to find the desired level of tennis that I wanted to be on. And I'm glad it all came together from probably end of the clay court season. Wimbledon was a very important tournament for me. After that, I felt also huge relief and confidence boost. And then Astana and Tel Aviv were two really, really good weeks indoor. And I always like to play indoor, and historically my records are really good here in Bercy and indoor tournaments in general. So I wanted to play here because I've done so well in the past. Also because coming into the last World Tour Finals, last 8, last tournament of the season, you want to have more matches on the highest level. So, hopefully I can have a great week here and then finish off the year in the best possible way.
You brought up that very strange season, the very unusual circumstances, but just if you looked at I looked at the number, it's like 39 matches, 33 wins, 1 Grand Slam out of 2 attempts. I mean, it's maybe one of your best seasons. How do you assess this year? And
yeah, I mean, it's now that you read it this way. I mean, I like it, but of course, I wanted to play in States and in Australia, but it didn't happen. And then, after Wimbledon, I had 3 months without an official tournament. So, I mean, it's not an ideal scenario or ideal calendar. But at the same time, those are the circumstances that I had to accept and, and just deal with it. And I tried to use the time that I had particularly after Wimbledon, without tournaments to rest, spend quality time with the close ones, with the family, and work on my game. And actually, I liked the time that I had to work on specifics in terms of tactics, technique, and whatever it is that there is always something to work on. But in tennis, we somehow never have time because the season is so long and you play sometimes week after week from January to end of November. So I used it in the best possible way, and that has reflected in a positive way to my game on indoors in the last 2 tournaments, as I mentioned, Tel Aviv and Astana. So, I'm hoping to continue that run, because Bercy has been a happy place for me. I've done well here in the past.
Okay, now you said that. I have to ask you, what are the specific things you worked on? What are those tactics we have to know?
Well, I worked a lot on chip and charge and serve and volley. That's the older you get, the less you want to run. So you want to be aggressive, bring back the old days, when most of the guys played serve and volley. No, I mean, joking aside, I as I said, there's all the shots in that a tennis player has in the game. They can always be better. Particularly when you are aiming to be the best in the world and to win the biggest tournaments in the world. At least this is from my perspective, my standpoint, my mentality has always been like that. There's always something that can be slightly better, and I challenge my team members as well a lot. Every practice session, I challenge them to challenge me and to perfect certain shots in the game even more. And I feel this is the only way, really. I mean, if I want to stay at the top of the game or compete with the young guys and try to win the biggest trophies that our sport has, you just need to continuously and constantly keep going and improving and trying to perfect your game. Otherwise, you're going to always play catch up with them, and they're obviously young, motivated, strong, fast, and things are changing. Also, our sport is evolving, so. But we, the old guys, are still there.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this next generation for the last question, because you said it. They're playing really, really well, and I remember before the Australian Open final on Eurosport 2 months under, you said that playing next gen Medvedev, he wanted to kick their butt just to show them who is leading here. So there's Rune, there is Alcaraz. Is there some butt kicking coming up in the next
Well, first of all, I have to say I have really, a good relationship with all of them, and I have, of course, tremendous respect for every single tennis player, and particularly the ones that are, reaching the biggest heights that are in the tennis world, because I understand, how that feels. I understand, what is necessary to do in order to achieve those things, and how much commitment and dedication and hard work. So I respect all these guys, and I think it's very good for tennis that we have young guys like Alcaraz, number one in the world, leading the way, winning Grand Slam this year. Rune, who's coming up, as you mentioned. Of course, Sinner, and a bit older guys like Tsitsipas, Medvedev, Rublev, Zverev, these guys that have been already established in the top 5, top 10 in the world, and Grand Slam winners, of course. So I think it's something that was inevitable to happen, after the 15 years of domination of Nadal, Federer, myself, Murray, Wawrinka and Del Potro, these guys who've been leading the game. And then, of course, you're going to have a next generation. And then many people are concerned whether the game is in good hands, whether, people are going to continue watching after the golden era, so to say. But, it was golden era with Borg, McEnroe, with, Sampras, Agassi, Becker, these guys. And still, there was new guys coming up, and as difficult as it looks for all these records that we made to be broken, I think it's always possible. It's always possible. And Alcaraz definitely looks like somebody who has intention to dominate the game in the years to come. So I think it's good that, as I said, there are some new faces. But I will not give up. I will make sure I kick their butt for as long as I possibly can. They will kick my butt sometimes, maybe, hopefully less than I kick theirs. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers.
6-7, 7-6, 6-3, 6-2.